going to get to Triggered the book in a moment and your relationship, but you did something that triggered a lot of people yesterday, including myself, by releasing the name of the whistleblower. The whistleblower whose complaint has now led to impeachment hearings. The whole point of releasing a name is to intimidate someone, to threaten someone, and to scare other people from coming out. That's something that dictators do.
I just want to say, he tweeted a link to an article. The article actually said his name. He just simply tweeted out the link. The link, which he later correctly identifies, had been out for about 10 days. This name that they're going on about, it was already in the public knowledge, had been for 10 days. Look, do I think it was a good idea him tweeting it out? Probably not. He probably should have found an article that didn't have his name. But it's not like he actually tweeted out the name himself, right? He tweeted a link to an article that had his name in the headline. And he talks about that here.
Lived in China, I've seen that firsthand. That's not what America does. That's not who we do. We stand by our people. Why did you want to release the name?
I think it's very, very weird that these liberals, or I should say these progressives actually in this situation, are actually getting on their high horse about, for example, him going through and tweeting out this name, right? Because this is the same people that have gone through in the past and released people's names like the Covington kids. No one gave a shit about that then, right? They only cared about it when he tweeted out, and I directly believe it was because of the fact that this whistleblower has since been realized that, you know, he has huge association with the Democratic Party. Obviously, his lawyer has been tweeting out things in the past, like, for example, talking about how impeachment was going to happen straight away. He's been tweeting since 2017. He obviously has a secret agenda. And I do think it is a bit of that. And Donnie does touch on that now, but we'll keep going with this for a second.
I think... I think the reality of the answer is the whistleblower's name was on a little website called The Drudge Report a couple days ago. It was in Real Clear Politics. I literally quote tweeted an article that had the guy's name in the title of the article. So that whole thing is nonsense. But I wish the outrage would be equal. I mean, there was no outrage when, you know, my family got an exploding letter of, you know, with white powder substance in it. You know, they're protecting a guy, you know, in the CIA, and there's great outrage, but when your family gets something, it's there. And that's a big part of the book, which is, it's not a level playing field in terms of outrage. We do live in an outrage culture.
He asked to be anonymous. Your family did not. There's a difference.
I can't believe she would say something so stupid as that. Your family doesn't have to be anonymous. Really? You're not going to afford Donnie Jr. and his family the same sort of respect that a normal... What? Because he's the president's son? Because he sometimes works in the Oval Office or gives speeches for his dad, or because he's running the Trump Association at the moment, or the Trump business at the moment, he doesn't get the same sort of benefits that a normal person gets? Like, really? It just seems like it's a piss-weak argument to me. Yeah, I think at the end of the day that the media should definitely has a double standard when it comes to Trump and it comes to Trump's family. So, yeah, I do think there is a double standard.
But it was literally millions of people, and for days he's been out there in the media.
But does that make it right?
So what's the difference between me tweeting about it?
It's different when the president's son does it, though, isn't it?
Why? I mean, I'm a private citizen putting this out there. If everyone in this room could have read this, I don't see any difference whatsoever. The reality is, it seems to me, and again, my point of view on this, it seems to me that everyone is outraged that his name is out there because now people are saying, okay, he's tied to Joe Biden while Joe Biden was working in the White House. He has ties to Brennan, who's been leading the cabal on Trump. It's not, you know, let's be honest about what it is.
But just to be clear, that's not why I'm outraged. I'm outraged because I care about diplomacy in this country. I care about...
Oh, please leave it alone. You don't care about diplomacy, okay? This is the same group that has been going through, the same panel of women that have been going through for the past 2 years, going on about getting Trump impeached. But now they care about diplomacy. Now they care about going through and all this sort of... No, you don't, okay? Just cut it out. Stop lying through your teeth, right? At the end of the day, like Donnie Trump, like Trump Jr. says here, the fact is he wasn't the one that put the name out there. What he did put out there was an article which had already named him days before. He just quote tweeted the article. I really don't see how taking shots at Donnie Jr. here is, in any sort of way, is justified.
How we protect the people when they see a wrongdoing, that they go through the proper political channels and they are protected for doing that. So you can say that whatever outlet released it.
Let's not kid ourselves.
But the name has been out there for 5 days.
But that doesn't make it right.
But nevertheless,
But Abby, you guys, ABC is right now chasing down a whistleblower about all of the Epstein stuff because those stories were killed. So if we're going to have the conversation about the outrage about whistleblowers, you work with CBS stuff. You work with CBS to out a whistleblower who came up with a story that's kind of shady.
That's a very good point. They care about whistleblowers, right? They care so much about whistleblowers. Your network, ABC, at the moment, is currently hunting a whistleblower who leaked the Epstein files. By the way, the whistleblower that they thought they caught, they thought they caught him and fired him, apparently is not him, because Project Veritas has come out and said the whistleblower that works for ABC, I think it was, that leaked the video, I'm not sure if he was working for CBS or ABC, actually still works there. The person that they actually fired wasn't actually the whistleblower at all. They fired the wrong person. But here they are, going on and caring about whistleblowers so much. But at the end of the day, they don't care about the whistleblower that's currently being hunted by the company they work for, which is ABC.
No, but you work with them.
Can we stick to what she asked in the question? Just because if we start getting off on...
Let's not talk about other things that may hurt our agenda. Let's just talk about things that at the end of the day prove our point, right? Because we don't want to go getting off track here, Donnie Jr., is what Whoopi Goldberg is actually saying. Let's not talk about our company, the company that we work for, hunting down whistleblowers when it comes to other things, because we're trying to push a narrative that whistleblowers are a good thing and that we shouldn't hunt them down. The irony is just insane.
But my point is one of hypocrisy, and again, a big part of why I wrote the book is because there's so much hypocrisy out there. Now, I understand that the mainstream media is left-leaning. I don't think anyone's ever debated that or doubted that for a long time. But they've gotten rid of the pretense of objectivity at this point. There is no, they're like, you know what, we're just going to be the marketing wing of the other side.
Just let me interrupt. If you talk about hypocrisy, you seem fine with people leaking information if it makes you and your father look good, because WikiLeaks and Julian Assange is a cyber terrorist, right? And I think a Russian puppet. You are fine promoting his stuff, and your dad praising him on the campaign trail if it makes you look good. So how is this whistleblower who went through the right channels, how are you now releasing his name and putting his life in danger, but WikiLeaks was doing the right thing?
If I can, just first, thank you so much.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you for the opportunity. So here's the thing. There's a lot of context to, and I hear what you're saying. It's a fair enough question, because he may be a private citizen, but nevertheless, he is the son of the president of the United States.
And a campaign surrogate.
And somebody who works as a campaign surrogate, but not officially, with the campaign. But nevertheless, when you look at this facts and you look at the circumstance, you look at, in fact, even on this show, the first day after the election, they said, and now let's start with impeachment. This has been something that's been going, it's been a concerted effort by a lot of people who are disappointed by the results of the election to undo it and remove a duly elected president of the United States, number one. Number two, when you look, well, it was on the show on November 9th.
Actually, it was on the show November 9th. That Joy is sitting there literally lying to the audience right now. Her saying, no, it wasn't. No, it actually was. Because I went back and I had a look. It's there. It's actually there. They actually talk about it.
Actually, it wasn't.
It was actually, Whoopi. You were the actual one that said it. You turned around and you said something along the lines of, and if he doesn't do something, or hang on. Do we need to bring this up? Open a new tab. Videos. I wonder if they're taking the video down, actually. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? Right, so... Scroll down. So... November the 9th. November, remember the 5th of November. Jesus Christ, they put out a lot more videos. They put out more videos than I used to. Alright. Alright. Oh, look, it's in there. Trust me, it's in there. There's just way too much to go through and try and find.
We've had all kinds of. Wait, now see, I listened. Now I'm asking for the same.
Sure.
We are an opinion show.
Correct.
That's what we do.
Correct.
What you seem to have done and feels very disingenuous because you can't say I'm a private citizen and yet you're in the middle of all of this. You brought to the FBI folks, everybody talked to you. You know, you're part of this. So when you release a name like that...
But he didn't release the name. This is the thing, right? They go on about him releasing the name, but he didn't. At the end of the day, he quoted an article, which was, I think it was Real Time Politics, that actually released the name. But they don't seem to get that. It's not him. He didn't tweet the name out there. Right? Like, anyway.
Even if it was out for 10 days or 20 days, you have to know that people, if you were talking about the white powder that your family got, this guy's family's getting the same thing. And what?
We don't know that. Okay? We don't know that. And what? You're going to tell every time that Whoopi Goldberg or Joy Boiler, whatever her name is on the panel, or McCain even on the panel, anytime they tweet an article, what about the times that they've tweeted out articles that have had names in it? You know, have they gone through and did they tweet out names for the Covington kid by accident when the articles were talking about their names? Did Whoopi Goldberg care about releasing names when it was the Covington kids? Probably not.
Why is it okay for one and not both?
We don't know
it.
that that's actually happening to him, you know, first and
Well,
foremost.
we don't know that it happened to you. But we're taking
Emma,
your name.
Oh, come on, Whoopi. We don't know it happened to you. That was her response. What? He made it up? They launched an FBI investigation into a made-up claim? But no, come on, Whoopi. Really?
Taking your...
It was reported.
It was a case.
Stop yelling. Stop yelling.
Not to yell. I can
We
hear
can hear
It's
you.
like a miracle ear for
But
Christmas.
Kimberly, you're a lawyer.
Yes.
And we've known
Yeah.
each other. You were a former
Absolutely.
prosecutor. I mean, did you advise your boyfriend that it is a federal crime to out a whistleblower?
I didn't advise him that it was a federal crime, but I did come out of the bathroom and say, I left you alone for 10 minutes. What happened when Mamacita's gone? Because by the
Well, it's not a federal
Floyd's
crime.
reason.
It's only a federal crime for
However,
the IG to do it. That's in the statute.
Well,
so that's you
well, no,
can't.
that's
but
not
that's the
true.
point. You can't
That's
run
a lie.
With it is not.
She's
true.
let me show you the
That's
other
not
side.
true.
Let me show you the
Under
other side of
U.S.
this.
Okay, stop. Everybody stop. It's hard to hear.
Under
Really,
U.S.
So
Code
finish
Section
that.
1505, it is a crime.
It's not accurate. Just ask Rick Paul. He went
My
to
law
great
degree
detail
says it
on
is,
the
but
other.
nevertheless.
But he's not the individual that first was
But my question is,
Yeah.
you did speak to him about that.
I talked to him, no, not prior to. After I said, oh, what happened? He said, well, they're saying that I released this and I outed. But if you look at the facts, and the facts are that the name was out there. I'm not saying, okay, I understand what you're saying, that perhaps, okay, it wasn't the most prudent decision to retweet an article. But I'm going to tell you something. We talk about transparency. The President of the United States released the transcript of exactly what happened in that phone call. The whistleblower is giving his opinion or her opinion opinion
Right.
of what transpired.
I'd like to talk about that,
You get what I'm
actually.
saying?
I'd like to talk about that.
That's out there to say. He's not trying to hide
ahead.
anything, and thank
Go ahead,
God he
son.
transcribed it.
I'd like to
So
talk
now
about
we know
that.
the truth.
Actually, let me ask you, do you regret retweeting that?
I don't think I should have to forego my First Amendment right. I didn't want to create hysteria, but if I'm reading an article, be like, oh, the name's out there. I didn't even realize that this thing's some sort of
So
big sort
you
of
don't regret
secret.
doing that?
I don't regret doing it. No, I don't think I should have to forego my First
right,
Amendment
but
rights. It's out there. I read it in an article. I've been reading it for a week. I saw it on the Drudge Report. Like, this is not some secret, but to then say, because it's Donald Trump Jr., because he's an
Listen,
outspoken
this is
guy,
not a MAGA
to then
rally,
create,
okay?
why was there no outrage when Drudge Report,
That moment you realise you've lost your own audience.
which is a major website, probably the largest aggregator of media news in America, he puts it out there a few days ago, and no, crickets, no problem with that.
Because
Come on, guys,
probably
like,
not a lot of people knew that it was out there. But once you put it out,
on Drudge.
see,
What,
but here's
millions of people see
yes,
Drudge
but
a day.
I'm saying to you, listen, man, I don't know how many people here read the Drudge Report. I don't know, but I'm saying a lot more people know your name than know the Drudge Report.
that's a fair point. He
I
has
know
a
it's a
high
fair
profile.
point.
Let's move on.
I understand.
I want to talk about the memo of the call, because I don't believe it's a transcript. In the memo of the call that was released from the White House between your father and the Ukraine president, your father said, I would like you to do us a favor, though, because our country has been through a lot, and Ukraine knows a lot about it, and we have the entire part of the memo here. The other thing, there's a lot of talk about Biden's son, that Biden...
That's two different sections of the call, as far as I know. This is like from earlier. This part up here is from earlier in the call, and this is later. They've spliced two parts of the article together, or two parts of the call together, to try and make it seem like he's talking about something when he wasn't. This is what I mean by disingenuous media. This is like 5 or 10 minutes later in the call, as far as I know.
Didn't stop the prosecution, and a lot of people want to find out about that. So whatever you can do with the Attorney General would be great. This is the basis of the impeachment inquiry. Why is that a sham?
The whole
Which is
thing,
what you're calling
first of all, because nothing was withheld. The other guy on the other side actually said, I have no idea what you're talking about. No one knew any aid
What do you
was
mean
even
nothing
being
was
withheld. The other guy in the Ukraine, in terms of aid being withheld. So no one knew about these
But
things.
that's not true. That's a lie. Military aid was withheld.
Yeah.
Yes.
No one knew
Not
about
as-
it in the
no,
Ukraine.
not
So
as a quid pro
there
quo.
was no quid pro quo. You see all the other
wasn't.
aspects of
That's
this
a
coming
lie.
out.
It was withheld.
There's been no prima facie case made whatsoever for impeachment. The transcript is there. The witnesses are coming forward. And there was no
So you have a lot of
support
opinions
for
going-
that hearing
But Kimberly,
going
the
forward.
military aid was
One at a
withheld.
time.
But not because of that reason.
And again, the other
nexus
side
and the
didn't even
time
know that it
frame,
was
the
withheld.
timeline has been
Can I
clearly
ask you-
demonstrated.
But that's a lie. There have been
Can I ask
several
you this then?
ambassadors that have testified
Then-
that have
And there's others that have testified
the
they had no
military
idea
aid
that
was
there was any
withheld.
quid pro
Let me
quo
ask you this.
whatsoever.
We have to go to a
Did
break.
Gordon Sondland lie then when he changed his testimony yesterday?
Well, I don't know why he changed his testimony. It's sort of interesting. It almost, he says something.
He's afraid of
on the
perjury.
record.
He's afraid of going to jail.
Or he's afraid of being attacked, like so many of us have for so long, by a vicious left that's running a
Oh,
one-sided
please.
sham thing.
Let's go to a
By
break.
Adam Schiff, who's doing a one-sided thing. Republicans
Children!
can't question. They can't do
Children,
things.
children,
Liberals! Liberals! Liberals!
children! Stop yourself.
Yeah, look, at the end of the day, I think, look, Donnie Jr. did a very good job, considering he has to think on his feet. Obviously, someone like me who's sitting here looking at this video later, I can think of better things I would have said. He's got to think on the spot. Right? So at the end of the day, full props to Johnny Jr. for it. At the end of the day, I think that this impeachment thing, like, they're literally going on about Russia from what I've heard at the moment. Like, they've circled back to Russia again. So, yeah, this impeachment obviously is doing a great job, because we're not going to focus on something that's already been disproved. Of course they are. But look, at the end of the day, there's points there where the viewers lost their own audience. Like, this is their audience. This is their home turf. Donnie Jr. has gone on there, literally walked into a viper's den, or whatever you want to call it, Like, there's no real home ground advantage here for Donnie Jr. Right? This is all their audience. And at the end of the day, there's points where they've lost the crowd. Even the crowd thinks that they're frigging nuts. So, credit to Donnie Jr. Look, could he have done a better job? Sure. But at the end of the day, I think he did a pretty good job considering.